Good morning, students. So today I'm starting with a new chapter which is known as storage classes in C. Storage classes, it's quite clear that it will deal with some idea of variables, how they are stored, and what are the variables, whether they are taking any garbage value or not. That will be shown here. Okay. So let's start with the idea of storage class. What is storage class? Actually, storage class represents the visibility and the location of a variable, right? So it will show you the memory location where it is stored and how it is stored. It tells from a part of code we can access a variable. A storage class can be described in some characteristics or with some characteristics. Their first one is the variable scope, where the variable is used. Second one is the location. Third one is the initialized value of a variable. Fourth one is the lifetime of a variable. That means how long the variable will stay in that particular scope or that function. Okay, so these are the different characteristics that are present in the storage class. I'm repeating once again. The characteristics for this are for the storage class, how can be described are: number one is the variable scope. Secondly, you can say the location where the variable will be stored. Third one is the initialized value of a variable, and the fourth one is the lifetime of its variable. Okay, so these are the different characteristics for this storage class, or what is the utility of this storage class. Thus, a storage class is used to represent the information about a variable. In a single line, I can say this thing, that it is used to determine or represent the information about a variable. Okay, so here in this description I have given that it is used to determine the lifetime, the visibility, and the memory location, and the initial value. Now there are four types of storage classes. First one is called automatic, second one is called external, third one is called static, and fourth one is called register. Auto, extern, static, register, AESG. Okay, so these are the four different classes, and what are the utility of these classes? I have made a chart here. There is the storage class, and here are the storage place. I have make four different type of columns. One is the storage place, second one is the default value, third one is the scope, that means whether it can be used for a local variable or a global variable or anything, and fourth one is the lifetime, that how long it will stay and where it will stay. So first one is auto. Auto is placed inside the storage place is RAM. Auto, extern, and static, keep it in your mind that these things stay in the RAM or stays in the RAM. Now the default value for auto is always garbage, because you are not giving any value. Suppose you are taking a variable s denotes sum, okay, and you are doing a problem which is addition of two numbers, that means a plus b. In the former rule, we generally initialize the value of sum as 0, right? If I don't declare the value of sum as 0, then it will automatically take a garbage value. Okay, so this is called automatic variable or automatic storage class. And second one is the scope, where it can be used. All the variables that we generally use in the program are local. Okay, so it is the most common feature of this running a code or running a program is here the scope used is local, and the lifetime of this automatic variable is within the function, that means in the main function or the scope of the function. Okay, now automatic and register are both more or less same, both of them are same. Only difference is that automatic variables are stored inside the RAM, whereas the register is stored inside the register. But both of them take garbage value by default. Their scope is local, because within the function scope is again, and the register and the auto, both of them are in the stored in the scope present inside the function. So the lifetime is present within the function, as well as the scope is local variable. Now the difference is extern and static. Now for extern means external. So when I am using some external, that means till the end of the main program may be declared anywhere inside the program body. That means it is a global variable. If I declared a global variable, then it can be used inside the program body, anywhere inside the program body. then I can say it is an extern. From the name it is quite clear, external means global. Okay, it assigns a value 0. And third one is called the static. Static is a local variable. Why local? Sir, you have told it is static, means fixed. So suppose I am taking a value I equals to 1. So when I am taking the value of I equals to 1, it will assume the value inside the main program body, or retains the value between multiple function call as I equal to 1. With the next increase in I equals to 1, if the I becomes 2, then it will again take the value 2, which is fixed inside the whole program. So hence static is a local variable and it assumes a value 0. Clear? So these are the 4 different type of storage classes that are present. Come into the details with some program and some definitions. Now what is auto storage class or automatic variables? So auto storage class means automatic variables are allocated here. Automatic variables means the variables defined using auto storage class are local variables. I have told you before this. So auto stands for automatic. A variable is in auto storage class by default if it is not explicitly specified. Okay, if I haven't defined it, then it is automatic by default. And the scope of an automatic variable is limited within a particular block of the program. Okay, a keyword auto is a keyword. Okay, how many keywords are there in total? There are 32. Among the 32, auto is also a keyword. Now I have given here 2 examples, example 1 and example 2. In example 1, I have given a value integer a. A is an automatic variable. Why? Because I am doing all the problem specifications or all the declarations inside the scope. So there is no change. By default it will take some value. Here I have given integer a and I am taking the value. I haven't given any value for a, b or c, or I am taking any value. I am just printing the value of a, b and c. So that means it will take garbage value. Okay, if I am not printing it, if I am directly printing the value of a, b and c I have taken, but I am not taking any value from the user, then obviously it will take garbage value. For the second case it is also same. Here I have given that if I am giving some value for a, and in the second case I am giving a value for a again changed, then 20 will be printed. That means which is present inside the loop or inside the scope, that will be taken. The value that is present inside the scope will be declared, then the value outside will be declared. So by this way we are taking the automatic variable. Okay, so second one is called static. What is static variable? Static means whenever I am taking a variable, or whenever the static variables are used within the function or the local variables. They can also be used as a global variable. Not only static are used as a local variable, they can also be used as a global variable. Static local variable is a local variable actually that retains and stores its value between function calls or block and remains visible only to the function or block which is defined. That means it is visible only to the file in which it is declared. Right? So it is visible to the file, only to the file which is declared. Clear? So static is also a keyword. Here I have used the static keyword, static character C, character int I, character static float f, static character s100. Now I am doing the operation print a %d %d cif. That means the initial value or the initial default value of c, I and f will be printed as 0 0 0 0 0 like that. You haven't declared anything, so it will automatically take a value 0. Okay, again come to another solution or another program. Here I have given static int a equals to 10 and b equals to 24, and I am incrementing the value of a and b. It is within a function void sum, and in the main function I have a called function which is sum. So whenever the main function is calling this sum, that means the operations in the sum will be displayed. So first you have to print 10, then 24. First a plus plus and b plus plus, these are post increment. So a will become 10 and then b will become 24. Again next call, when the main function will again call this function, there is a loop. That means sum will call up to how many times? 3 times. 0 1 2, 3 times it will call. So in the first call it will give a value A equals to 10 and B equals to 24. Printed. Again it will call the sum function. Now there are post operators. So the plus plus will be there. A will now become 11. B will now become 25. Printed. Again for the third time it will go for A will become 12. B will become 26. Again it will be printed. Right. So the value of A and B is automatically changing. The previous values, those values I haven't taken in. Depending on those values, the values are automatically changed. So the static variable holds their value multiple function on a multiple function call. Okay. So this will increase one by one and finally it will give the output. This is the utility of the static function. Okay. You can keep it in mind that the static variable has a default initial value 0. By default, if you are not giving or initializing any value for a variable A, B, C, anything, it will by default take 0. If you are giving any value, it's okay. If you are not giving any value, then it will automatically take a value 0. Clear? The third one is called a register. Register means, what is register? Register is a storage class when you want to store local variables within functions or blocks in CPU registers. The only difference is that for auto you are storing it in RAM or random access memory, and instead of storing the value in RAM, the registers are storing in CPU registers. Right? So for this reason we generally use in the register, we generally use counter. Have you heard of counter? Counter means it will count how many times the element is stored inside the register or how many times it is floating or storing the value. So we use there a counter. This is a first approach or first access approach than the automatic variables, because registers works much more faster than this RAM. Okay. So the keyword register is used to declare a register class. It is quite clear to us. Take the example. Here I am using the keyword register int. That means variable A is allocated in the CPU register or is allocating a memory in the CPU register. The initial value of register is always 0. I have told you. Okay. So take another example. Output is 0. Now go to this example that register int a equal to 0. Suppose you are giving a value a equals to 0. Now printf you are giving unsigned integer a. This will give a error. Why? Because it cannot access the address of a register variable. Why? Because you are giving a variable integer a and printing the value printf %da. At that point of time it is taking the value of a. Correct. But the second time when you are giving %u, then who is taking? You have declared a variable integer a equal to 0. But when you are going for the print, you are writing %u. That means they will say a is an undefined variable. Check for it. And then it will go for a error or a compile time error. Okay. So this is the utility of register. And the last one is the extern. What is the extern? Extern means external. Extern stands for the external storage class, and it is used when we have global functions or variables which are shared between two or more files. Right? Suppose you have gone to a sweet shop, you have taken a number of sweets from there, but you haven't paid anything. You said that my father and my uncle will pay. So either your father can pay the money or your uncle can pay the money, because all of you are in the same family. That means you are accessing the money, or the sweet owner is accessing the memory from the function which has a single body, but the functions are from different files. Okay, so this is called extern. So here in the first part we are writing the extern int a, then print a %da. The output will be undefined reference to a. Why? Because a is not defined. In the second case, if I am writing extern int a and I am declaring int a before it, that means globally declared int a before int main function, this is called global variable declaration. Then it will assign a value 0. Okay, so variable that is defined using an extern keyword are global variables. These variables are accessible throughout the program. Okay. So these are the different type of programs, or these are the different type of storage classes. You can go through it. They only give you a question of the differences between the various storage classes, auto, extern, static and register. You can go through it, read by details. If you have any problem, you can ask me in the discussion forum. Thank you.